Welcome to How to Become a Production SQL Database Administrator. My name is Raphael. In this video, we're going to use the application called Redgate to install and generate data for us. And as I mentioned in the previous video, this is the option that we want. It's called the SQL Data Generator. And once you install it, we can start. So you obviously have two choices, buy or trial. We're going to go with the free trial. And so click on the free trial. I've already given you the website. And now you're going to have to fill out this quick email and name and company. I've already done this. And then you click download trial, which I've already done also. So let me go to my download and look from there. So here it is, my download. As you can see, it's called the SQL Developer Suite. So when you've downloaded it and updated the information that they want, just double click, go yes, and this will start. So you can see that we've got a various selection that the Redgate has. If you want to check out these, you can just go next. Otherwise, you can uncheck specific ones. Since I may use these for other references or something, I'm just going to go yes. Yes, but obviously this is the one we want, the SQL Data Generator. Right now, actually, I don't want anything else, so I'm just going to go uncheck these. I really don't care for them at this point, but you can certainly leave them as default if you wish. But this is the one we're looking at, SQL Data Generator. Go next, and so on, and then just go next. Accept the terms, next, 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 and that's it. And it'll just take a few minutes to install. And obviously, if you have a larger amounts selected, then it'll take a little longer. But I don't believe this takes very long to install. Now, while that's installing, let me go to SQL 2014. And I'm going to use the SQL2 database that we created in the previous video. And I'm going to just create a table called people. I'm going to call, this is the columns, people ID, first name, last name, address, city, state, zip, country, phone. So I'm just going to highlight this and execute, and that will create a table for me. If I go here, you can see that table has been created. If I go right click, one thing you'll notice here is that in the previous videos, I don't believe you had to select 10,000 yet. Just select it. Here it is. It gives it to you. I may be incorrect. So this is the table that we're going to populate data with. So right now obviously it has 0. And if we go over here, it's still downloading, I guess. Found being updated and shut down these applications to carry on. So we're good. Oh, I don't think it can. I think it needs SQL Server to close down. So now that we've done that, that's fine. So let's close this. Save changes, no. And there we go. And there we go. So you do need that to be shut down. So make sure you do that. Go next. And there we go. So as I said, we've created that database. We created the table called people. And now we're going to populate it with table. And it's an easy install. So as you can see, it's very quick. Let's just close this also. Go to our apps folder. All apps. And let's look at the data generator, and there it is. So I'm going to double click that. I'll just say do not, but you can certainly choose. Continue. There's a 14-day trial period. Local is fine. And the database we need, obviously, is the one we just created. So let's call it refresh it. And where is the database? Where's the database? Actually, there we need, since we have 2, that's the local. So if you fall into that trap as I did, make sure you select the appropriate one. So this is the 14. You can choose either one. Now we'll see the database. Go OK. And it's just reading now the database that we pointed to and reading all the tables. And in this case, you can see that we just have that table right here. And there are the columns. So now we're going to say generate data, select a column to adjust generated parameters, use existing data source, and so on. So as you can see, this is a preview of the data to be generated, the first 100 of 1,000. But we're going to actually need more than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an existing data source. Let me see what that option gives you. Now let's just look at generation here. Now I'm going to make this 50 million. Let's see, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that should take a little while. And I'm going to go generate data right here. So as you can see, you've got the ID here. The first name is going to be populated, the last name, address, the city's state, zip, so Honduras, that's fine. And this. Now, obviously, this isn't exact data or valid data because Lincoln, Kentucky is not in Honduras and is the United States, but they may have a Lincoln, Kentucky, you never know. However, the point of this data is not to have valid data. The point is of quantity of data. So I'm not really concerned about incorrect data. I just want data, raw data itself, and this is it. So this will now generate the data once you go click here. So I'm going to click generate realistic data, generate data, and there is 50 million rows will be inserted. I'll go generate. Now, this obviously is going to take a little while. I'm not sure exactly how long. I have done this before. I did 100 million and 1 billion for trial purposes. So I'm going to just pause the video at this time, and when this finishes, we'll come back and then we'll look at our data. And then in the next several videos, we'll start discussing indexes. But this is going to take a little while, so I'm going to pause it, and we'll come back and continue when this finishes. So I'll see you in a second. And welcome back. And as you can see, when the Redgate application completes the data insertion, you get this pop-up file. And obviously, it's telling you some information about what we just did. So this is the target server, the database that it went to, and how many rows it inserted. And I inserted 50 million rows. And then obviously it just gives you the time and date. So this is the first report that it gives you. So we can close that, and we can close this now. So do you want to change it? You can say yes, but I'm going to say no. And let's just verify that the data was inserted. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a select count from people. And remember, this is the table that we just populated with data. So I'm going to do a select count from people to verify that we have 50 million rows. Make sure you're in the right database, which we are, and just execute. And all this text, as you certainly know by now in my previous courses, that I provide for you in a documentation or SQL script for those who purchase this course. So as you can see, there's 50 million rows being inserted. If you want to view now the size of the database, you can do that with the Sprott SB Help database, followed by the database name. And we've gone over that again. So you can see the total size is 16 gigs. That's 15 plus 1. And you can see that the properties here for each log file and data file. If you want to actually look at the data again, so just look at use the select statement. And as I said again, we're not worried about the accuracy of the data as much as we are about the quantity of the data. So now that we have 50 million rows, we can start looking at indexing in the next coming videos. One thing I want you to do immediately right now is, because we have 50 million rows in this database, and if we were to upgrade another to a 2016, or we want to generate, or if this database becomes corrupt, then we don't want to go through the whole process of downloading the SQL Suite file, generating data, because that takes some time. We want to be able to restore the database. So back up your database now right here using this script. And I've shown you that before also. But if you don't know how to do that, just copy this, which I provided for you. Or you can just go right-click, Tasks, Backup Database. And this window pops up. And then all I did to generate that script, I didn't write it. I actually just clicked on Script and Cancel. And then obviously it automatically provides you the script, and I've just done a little cleaning up here. So the first thing I want you to do, which I'm going to do also, is back up the database. So I'm going to execute that, and that just may take a few minutes to back up the database. So now that I have a database backup of SQL with 50 million rows, I don't have to constantly regenerate data, and I can certainly use that for my coming videos regarding indexing. So I think this is going to be the finishing point of this particular video. So now that you know there are applications out there that allow you to generate data if you need it, and we'll be using the next video talking about indexing, and then all this stuff regarding the quantity of data will come in play, and that's going to be very important. So I'm just going to let this back up, and we can look at the messages, look at the process if you wish. This stats right here, this tells you how many in percentages it's increasing by, and we can change that if we wish. And this is what it's indicating, stat increase by percentages. So it's almost going to be 90%, 100% backup. Then as soon as it completes, this video will be over. And then, as I said, we'll start with the real crux of the next series of video, which is indexing, which is a very exciting thing to understand and important. So the back database has been backed up. So I feel good about that. So I'm going to leave it here now, and we'll pick it up in the next video. So this is Raphael, and this is how to become a production SQL database administrator. Bye.